Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Face the Truth. Please welcome my friend and amazing songwriter, Son Little. Cool, man. All right, that's awesome. So we're rolling.
Cool.
So hey, man, thanks for doing this. This is awesome. It's been a while. When was the last time?
Yeah, I was just thinking.
It was like maybe a year ago, when you played in Chicago.
Chicago, that was end of 17.
Oh, okay. Wow, it's been way longer.
Yeah.
Dude, that was such an awesome show. So much fun.
Thanks, man.
You know what's really funny is so I took my father-in-law came with me, and he was blown away. And then I brought my friend and his girlfriend with, and man, I was having such a blast. I'm like just grooving into every single song. And then at one point I'm like recording, and I'm like, I gotta show, I'm gonna show this to everybody how awesome Son Little is. I didn't realize, because I was singing along with you.
All right.
And I had a lot of wine, and and then when I put it on Instagram, I'm like, Son Little's killing it, and then I got home and my wife's like, you got to delete that video. It's so bad, because all anyone could hear was my drunk ass trying to sing
the voiceover.
Yeah, but like, yeah, that was terribly embarrassing.
Oh, it's kind of good, man. I want to see it.
Oh man, I'll see if I can find it.
If you can dig it up.
I might have deleted it, but I'll see.
That's good. You're into it.
Dude, I was totally into it, man. No, seriously, I love your music so much, man. It's awesome. And I just saw too that you did a song with what's her name? Mahal.
Diva Mahal, yeah.
Oh, Diva, yeah. That's amazing. Is that something you just released?
Yeah, it just came out yesterday.
Wow, it's that fresh.
She reached out through her manager, and I was kind of like, I had sort of just finished touring, and I was starting to think about working on the next record, and and you see you go through these things sometimes with, especially in LA. I had just moved to LA, and so people are like, trying to get me in on these writing sessions, and you go to these writing sessions, and it'll be lots of talented people in the room sometimes, or one or two. You got talented people in the room with kind of like a mandate to make something. Like it's just an amorphous, like there's an unspoken pressure to like finish something.
Yeah.
And what happens a lot is, like, when you have talented songwriters in a room, and everybody knows they're supposed to walk out with something, like something gets made, but it seems like 9 times out of 10, like the thing that gets made is just kind of, it's like a weird Frankenstein of people's talents, whereas that in my experience a lot of times never amounts to anything in particular that anyone loves. So I had sort of done a bunch of that, and like with great people, like some of whom are super talented and great people.
Yeah.
But there are times when what you're really looking for is something like a really smooth connection, and she and I got put together. I kind of had songwriting fatigue for a minute, and she came in, and we just kind of like breath of fresh air, like really clicked, and wrote the song super fast.
It's I listened to it. I didn't know it came out yesterday. I was like, when I was sketching you this morning, I was doing a little doodle of you. I was like, I'm gonna put on some music, and then I saw that, like, oh shit, it's called Goddamn, right?
Yeah.
Thing. It is so good. It's awesome.
And trouble with grandma for that one.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh yeah. She didn't like that, huh?
No, I was not really into that.
Do you know? So she's Taj Mahal's daughter, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. My little fun fact: my grandpa, well, he's my step grandpa, but he likes me to call him grandpa. But he played with Taj Mahal.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. He's a tuba player. He played with like Levon.
Yeah.
He was in Levon Helm's band.
Okay, yeah.
And his name is Howard Johnson. So he played on lots of records, tuba and everything.
Okay.
But that's pretty awesome. That's
cool.
really cool, man. It sounds amazing. Like I listened to that song like 5 times in a row today.
All right, thanks, man. Yeah. We kind of, it's like just built from the ground up, and it's kind of cool. It's nice when people want you to do what you already do.
Yeah. So when you got together with her for this, what you said it came together pretty quick. Was it just like just fiddling around? Like I've always been curious about your music and your writing ability, or what your process is, because, like, for example, one thing I love about your music is there's a lot of your songs that'll just be like, it'll start with just like a real simple like beat, like just a click,
Right.
click,
Mm-hmm.
and it just builds, and then like there's like almost like a layering. It's almost like painting with music.
Mm-hmm.
You're like building up all these layers.
Mm-hmm.
Do you usually start with like a rhythm like that, like just in your mind, and then kind of?
Yeah, I mean that's usually there at square one or right around it. I mean, I kind of feel like you don't have much of anything without that.
Yeah.
And that's not the hardest. I mean, I think it's the easiest thing to find. It's like, even if you start with a lyric, I think a lyric, it tends to give itself a certain tempo, a certain feeling to it.
Oh, okay.
So like those things, I think they go well together. A rhythm and your speech. I mean, speech has a rhythm to it too. So
yeah. Oh, exactly.
It's like things tend to grow from that location.
Yeah, I think I can't remember I think it's the song, but that one that goes dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
I can't remember what that song's called.
That's Cross My Heart.
Okay. I think that was the first song I heard of you, and I was like listening. Corey sent me a link,
mm-hmm.
and I'm like, okay, what's going on? Because it started with just like the simple like, it almost sounded like a children's instrument or something like that. Like it's just like this like real basic thing, and then all of a sudden you come in with the voice, and I'm like, whoa, sold me. And that's the thing I love, is that there's just so much depth in layering with everything. Even like. The one thing I really dig about your guitar playing is because I love playing guitar. I'm not like the greatest guitar player, but I played for years.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing I can't stand is someone who is really, really good, but all they do is play guitar solos nonstop. Like the whole song is a fucking just and your style is just so cool, because you almost will go into like a little bit of a lead, but it's almost like foreplay, like flirting. You're doing, like you'll just do like a little and you're like, no, I wanted more, but it was just enough. And then and it's awesome. There's just the right amount of all of that in there. I mean, it's funny because I think it was 2015 when I first met you, and when I first heard that. Is that when it came out, the first one?
15, yeah.
Oh, okay. But that was just like, it was awesome because, for me, your music is so refreshing. There's just there's so much that's the same out there. And so that's what, I became a big fan right away.
That's cool.
I love it, man. I can't wait for anything that you do.
Those are my favorite kinds.
Yeah.
Dude, that's cool.
No, it's awesome. And like, I think I've seen you play about 3 or 4 times now, and every single time it's just like, I don't know, dude. You have such a good stage presence, as far as like, that's another same thing with the guitar solo. You're not like overly showy, which I can't stand either. You're just like up there, like you're just doing your thing, like you're just alive with the music, and it's infectious. I really that's why, like, anybody that hasn't gotten to see you yet, they gotta go see you, because it's like, like my father-in-law, he still goes on and on and on about that show. I told him, I said, I'm gonna have him on the podcast. He's like, say hi for him. You know, the guy kicks ass. You know, yeah.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, we had a good time on the tour, and you caught us. I mean, we were probably good, almost 2 months into it at that point, because I think that was maybe the second to last show in America on that tour.
Oh, okay.
And then we dragged our ass through Europe after that. But like, we were definitely, we were cooking with gas by the time you got to see us too. So.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah,
it was awesome. It was a good vibe there.
So
I love Chicago, man. I love it. It's one of my favorite places to play.
Oh yeah, it's a good place to play shows, I think, in general.
Yeah, it's great.
You know. So when you did that European tour, where did you go? Did you end up going like everywhere over there?
You know, we did a strange thing. It was and I always seem to so far all my releases have been in the fall. So I always end up touring into the cold, basically, which is worse. I keep trying to switch it up, but it just lands that way. But so we after Chicago, I think we were in Minneapolis, and we flew from Minneapolis to the UK. I did this like right the week before that, or a couple of weeks before that, I had got asked to jump on this as support on this tour for a band. This guy Paul Heaton and Jackie Abbott was like, everywhere I've brought them up in America, like they're not well known there, but this guy's like, these people really are huge in the UK. Like just like very. It'd almost be like, I don't know. I can't think of somebody to compare him. It's hard to find somebody to compare him to, but the guy was in a band called the House Martins. This kind of like a sort of post-punk band in the 80s, and they do a lot of very very kind of political activism type songs, but I had never heard of them. The guy requested me specifically. It was the difference between having a week off and having like 2 days off, which really, if anybody's been on tour, you realize like it doesn't make a difference. You might as well have no day. If you're just gonna have a week, you might as well just not have a day off. Yeah. So we decided to do it, and this tour took us to, of course, like we went to London and we went to, Manchester, a place that people are often familiar with, but, we went to Glasgow, where I had not been before. We went to a place called Wolverhampton, like these places that where our opener on that tour where you saw me was Jadebird, who I don't know if you saw her, and she's, completely awesome. Amazing. And we were all just like, any minute now, Jadebird's going to blow up any minute now. Like, like they're just going to come grab her off the tour. But we were talking to them, and I told her manager where we were going. I said, well, we're going to Wolverhampton. He said, Wolverhampton? What? What? So be careful, mate. Yeah. I'm like, oh, all right. But, just kind of places that I wouldn't have access to otherwise. And the crowds were these very kind of like, soccer hooliganish. Yeah. I mean, stereotype, but that's what it looked like. It looked like we were at a soccer match and the fight was about to break out. No, they were no strangers to fisticuffs over there. Liverpool. Oh, yeah. We were in Liverpool, Liverpool. We played in front of 10,000 people in Liverpool after that. Jeez. So, it's just very strange experience, and I'm one to go for strange experiences. So I thought, well, let's try this, and it was really great, actually. I mean, very tiring, but we did like two weeks in the UK doing that. Really cool, just like completely different audience.
And how did they react to your guys?
Really well. I think once it get past the this like the kind of shock for them, you know, it's just like, okay, well, who's this? You know, you see, the band will walk on, and then you see me walk on. It's like, well, who's this? Who's this guy? You know, who's this guy? You know, it's very strange. So I think people would stare at me for a little while. Like, who's this little black guy with the guitar? What's he doing? What's he doing here? You know, I'm like, how's it going? You know, I'm just gonna play some, you know, relax.
Did you ever go up to the microphone and be like, cheerio? You know, the next song, mate.
You know what? I gotta tell you, I mean, there's some rough characters in these rooms, man. I was like, I don't want to test out my Cockney accent in here right now.
What are you, a fucking goose?
Yeah, I'm just let that go for now.
That's awesome.
And play, let the music speak for itself. But yeah, they didn't quite get my sense of humor, but you know, it worked out.
That's awesome though. But that's really cool though, man. Like, that's one thing I like about doing art in general is, I mean, like I've gotten to go places too before. I draw pictures, you know, and so I grew up in the middle of nowhere in North Wisconsin, and you know, and never thought one day I would be in Europe or different places I've gotten to go because I like to draw. You know, it's just you know, it's the coolest thing in the world. You know, and to be able to do it with music. Just going. I mean, you played in. I think did you tour Australia as well?
Yeah, a few years ago.
Because I mean, I've been to Australia, but it was like I think it was 2010, and that place is crazy.
It is.
It's
crazy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I like to say it's like Canada, but in a thong. You know. It's
That's
like
a great description.
Yeah, it's like the nicest people in the world, but they're
greased up too.
Oh yeah. And I've never heard so many women in my entire life say the word cunt before.
No,
like yeah, it's so weird.
Yeah.
But I loved it though.
Off the tongue.
Oh yeah. I was like I was there for a couple days, and I was there doing some art stuff, and then a bunch of artists were all hanging out at this bar. And I just started laughing, and they're like, "What?" I'm like, "You guys are hilarious." And they're like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "You guys like." I said something like, "Let me give you an example. So this is what you guys do. I'm gonna go to the fucking grocery store and get some fucking this and a fucking that and a fucking that. You cunt and you fucking this and you fucking that. And we need some fucking Cheerios and some fucking milk." And that's just a little kid talking. Like it's like. And they're like, what? Because I never heard so many. Like, I don't care about swearing, but I just never heard that before in that way, and it was so funny because they're the nicest people in the world. And I got invited just walking down the streets. One time, this person came up and she was like, "Oh, you're American, and want to come hang out?" And we went and hung out in their apartment. They made food, and we just, you know, really awesome people. Yeah. Yeah, and I got this one time. We were at this art show, and this older guy goes, "Come over here," you know. And I'm like, okay, and I'm up for whatever, and he's like, "You want to hear a joke?" You know, and then he just tells me, I don't even remember the joke now. All I know is he said every curse word you could think of.
Stuff, yeah.
And I was just dying. I was
just like, yeah, I don't need a punchline. We're
There's
good.
No punchline.
Punchline is Australia, basically.
Oh yeah.
In a good way.
No, it's.
Well, I don't know. I guess did you go to Sydney?
Oh, I landed there, but ended up going. I spent most of my time in Melbourne.
Okay.
Melbourne,
eh? All right.
Melbourne.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to go up to the northern area, right?
Yeah. That was totally different experience. You know, I mean, you go from Sydney, where I ended up spending, I think, 5 or 6 days in Sydney because I had 2 shows there. And like the contrast, you know, in Sydney, when I was there, they had just instituted a curfew. I mean, I guess, you know, people were getting too drunk, so they decided to set up a curfew at midnight. And I mean, this will be shocking, but it didn't work at all. I'd say it completely backfired, I guess is the way I would put it, because people got together earlier, got more drunk before they went out. Then they got even more drunk once they went out, and then they had to go home. So they're all walking around, just super drunk, like hallucinating level of drunkenness. Where I mean, 10 minutes, I saw more women pissing in the street than I've ever seen in my whole life before that. I was like, is that chick? Hey, are you all right? Oh, no, you're okay. You're pissing in someone's front porch. That's all right. Cool.
Oh, my God.
Hanging your ass over the fence.
Oh, my God.
Like, okay. So you're good? So you're good. All right, cool. I'm going to keep going. But to go from that to like, you know, I mean, just incredibly wild shit. But to go from that to, and I also just comparing the size of the bats, I think is the way that I look at it. Like,
oh yeah,
Sydney has bats like this. You know, like where I live, the bats are like this.
Yeah.
Sydney's bats are like this, and then the bats up there are like
what?
They're like that.
Are you serious?
They're like big cats with wings. Yeah.
No way.
And that's sort of the.
What do you mean?
I mean,
when you say this, you mean that's how tall they are?
That's like the body part is like.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, really. No, really. I want to be making that shit up. Like I want to be like, no, Jason, I'm fucking with you. I'm exaggerating. Bullshit. So not really that big. But no, they're fucking that big. That's
so did you like lock yourself inside? Like how long were you there for?
I was up there like 3 or 4 days. And you know what kind of I mean there's bats, there's crocodiles.
Oh yeah.
You can't swim. Like there's a beach, you know, that you can't swim. Well, like no one swims.
Yeah, why would
because these crocodiles are right there. Like you can just see them. They're just right there. They're just waiting for you. Like crocodiles. Have you ever seen a crocodile close?
In a zoo. But,
like a crocodile. The way a crocodile looks at you, it's like the scariest. I mean, it's the scariest thing I've ever. The way that you can just read it on their face, it's just like I will eat the.
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah.
Like, you know. It's like, oh, please
come here.
Well,
yeah, no. It's my birthday.
In the water.
Come say hi.
In the water. No, come on, get in the water. Just do it. Just do it. Try it. Just try it. Like they just it's freaky. So that actually, you're right. The result of that for me was like, I'm gonna be in this hotel, man. Like I'm not.
That's what I was thinking. Like I don't.
I can't. Guys, sorry.
Because you were there to play shows, right?
Yeah, not like I got there a day in front of the show, and then I did like a radio thing. I'm like, well, what else? You know, what else is going on? What else are I gonna do? And I was like, no, you're pretty much free to do whatever you want. Walk around and that's like I see this thing when the sun goes down. This sound, you start hearing the sound of the bats, and I look up and it's like this tree is just
oh my gosh.
I mean, what I'm saying, you know, sometimes like crows, for example, like there's a big field, a cornfield or something.
Yeah.
The crows all go in the tree, and then when the car's gone or there's no people around, the crows come down and they eat, and then they all fly back up. Like, but the whole tree is covered.
Yeah.
With crows. Like that's how these trees would be with bats like this big, and they're all just like the sound is like it's loud, you know. So when you're walking around outside, people are just walking around under these trees with these bats, and the bats are just screaming constantly. It's the weirdest. It's like Jurassic Park.
The only thing I could think of in comparison, but it's definitely not as scary as. When I went on my honeymoon to Hawaii, we were on the Big Island, and at night when it gets dark, you hear the frogs going burp beep, burp beep, burp beep, burp beep, and it's just all night long,
everywhere, all the time.
Just like, and they're not creepy at all. But then the funniest thing that we noticed was, like the second day, I think we were sitting in the morning, just chilling, and all of a sudden we start hearing the birds going burp beep, burp beep, burp beep. So like the birds have learned how to copy the frogs.
Pretending to be frogs.
Yeah, so you like hear that sound nonstop.
Yeah, great birds.
Yeah,
cool.
And evidently it's yeah, exactly.
Couldn't make up your own sound.
And evidently it's Walmart's fault, because I guess those frogs aren't from Hawaii, and they were brought over by accident from a Walmart delivery.
For sure.
I can't remember where the frogs are actually from, but now they've taken over Hawaii.
Oh, right. Of course.
But that's a lot better than cat-sized bats. That's insane.
Walmart frogs.
Jeez. So
Walmart brand frogs. Basically.
Did you get any new song material from being terrified by bats and crocodiles?
I mean, I ended up writing a bunch of stuff, which now like some of it landed on the last record, and some of it is actually on this next one that I've been working on. So it worked out. I mean,
yeah.
I guess if I was there long enough, I might get used to it, because people there clearly, that's the reality. But
yeah,
but
that's so weird.
It's so strange, that like no one ever, why would I have known that before? No one had ever no one mentioned that before I went up there. I mean, I know that people have like phobias about things like that, like bats. People are afraid of bats.
Yeah.
Generally speaking. So you would think maybe someone would say, just in case, like, hey, look, I don't know if you have a bat phobia, but you might not want to come here.
Well, I guess I would call it a phobia of rodents. Like, I can't stand rodents. Rats. I hate squirrels too. I call them tree rats.
I'm not a squirrel guy.
Yeah, and like I hate taking my garbage out because there's always going to be rats around in Chicago.
Yeah.
But when I went to Australia, one of the first things, this guy took me to this park. He's like, "Oh, I want to take you to this park. It's really cool. It's at nighttime." And he takes me to the park, and he's like, look at what's all in the trees, and there's like these weird rodent things that live in the trees. And he's like, you can go up and you can pet them. I'm like, fuck that shit, not touching these things. They're like these weird rodent things they're kind of like a raccoon mixed with
some weird thing. I know what you're talking about.
And they're just hanging out in the trees, and people are like, yeah, you can go up and you can. I'm like, no.
Well, why would I do that? What kind of person do you think I am? Yeah, there's a lot of intimidating wildlife there.
Oh yeah. The spiders and poison snakes.
Bugs. The birds even are they're just kind of, I don't know, just aggressive, like the attitudes, like there was one point where I was trying to have this peaceful walk, up there, and I was like, this has been a really great trip. I'm introspective. I'm looking out at the water I can't swim in. And then there's this bird, kind of actually really a pretty beautiful bird, but objectively has this brightly colored. But I looked at this bird, and it was just standing over there a few feet from me. And I'm like, God, why is this bird fucking looking at me like that? Like, what the fuck? Like, it's just like, again, it's just the aggression. Like, it's just looking at me like.
Did you just feel like you're like on the menu all the time?
I'm like, bro, like, what the fuck, man? I'm trying to chill and have a moment here, and you're fucking staring at me like you want to fucking, like you want to go. That's just like, you want to fucking, what? You want to fight? Like, you're a little ass bird, don't you? And that's why I'm like, you know what? I'm just walk over here, and I start walking, and it's following me. The bird was following me, staring me down, like 100 yards. This thing is following me. Like, it's. What do you want?
I'm curious, like what kind of tunes this inspires. Like,
I mean, to be real, the first one I wrote was up there was Kimberly's Mind, which is like pretty angry, kind of the jealous lover jam. I think maybe I was funneling. I also wrote this song called Charging Bull, which is probably another sort of like aggro aggro anthem. Like now that you mention it, I think it kind of helped me, tapped into some of that reservoir of anger I have inside me.
That's funny.
Yeah. It's a very unnerving place.
I mean, it's got to be a there's got to be something to that, for lots of songwriters. Just I mean, everything is influencing. I think. I mean, it could be too much of a good thing. Can also be a bad thing when it comes to being too comfortable. That's true. Can like I always think of it like if I have too much time for a deadline, I tend to not get on it as much. But if I only have a few days to get something done, I usually do a way better job.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Actually, the worst one for me is somebody says, like, hey, you think you can turn this around in a week? And I'm like, sure, no problem. I mean, it's tight, but yeah, I think I could work it out. And then, like, the next day, they're like, hey, you know what? It's all good. Just make sure, really it's more like, in 2 weeks or like a week and a half, like whatever works.
Yeah.
Like, don't rush. Like, if it's more than a week, don't worry about it. And I'm like, okay. Like, in the back of my mind, it's like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there it goes. I already blew it. Let me just apologize in advance. Like, this shit's never going to be because you said a week. Like, I'm like, all right, that's easy. Like, today's Thursday. That means I got to have it by next Thursday. Let's not discuss it. Like, if you then tell me, like, just make it like by like next Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever.
Yeah.
Don't say that. Like, don't give me extra time when I already have a deadline. Don't give me more deadline because that I'm gonna go too far.
Is this like what are you talking about? Like actually recording, like a song maybe for a project or something?
I mean, or it could be anything really, but I mean it could be the deadline for turning in the masters to the record. It could be just make sure you get those vocals done by Wednesday. It's a hard Wednesday. And it's like, well, I mean, or like just as long as they're done, at some point in the next 2 weeks. Like, no.
Yeah.
Don't ever say that to me. Or when people call you and I'm like, hey, you think you can come by? I'm like, sure, man, no problem. What time you want me to come by? So, like 7:30. I'm like, all right, look, I'll text you when I'm on my way. Okay, text them like, oh, hey, you know what? Just give me like 10, 15 minutes. Like, could you hold off 10, 15 minutes? I'm like, like, bro, you might not see me, dude, because I'm just gonna 10 minutes. What? So what? You want me to like sit back down in my crib for 10 minutes and just what do I do during that 10 minutes? Am I supposed to just nothing? I'm just supposed to wait? Like I can't just sit here and wait.
Yeah.
I can't slow down.
Yeah.
The process. It's like I'm either gonna do it like that or I'm not, or it's gonna be chaos, basically.
Yeah. Oh no, I totally relate. That makes a lot of sense.
I will take that extra 10 minutes and turn it into I start playing Monopoly with somebody. Like I don't it's like you know what? I think I think I'll write an epic poem.
That's awesome.
4 hours later, I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm about to leave. Look, you told me 10 more minutes. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, it can screw everything up. I totally understand.
Gotta keep that. If you said a deadline, that's it.
I hate the kind of things too where they give for certain jobs that I've done before where they're like, hey, you got a week to do this job. And so I start working on it. I'm working, I'm going to get this thing done. And then I don't hear back from them for like 3 or 4 days after I've sent like sketches and stuff. And this happened really recently. And then I write them back and I'm like, hey, I've sent the sketches like 3 or 4 days ago. I haven't heard anything back yet. You said you needed this done in a week. Now I'm going to have like 2 days to do the rest of it. Yeah. And they're like, oh, no, don't worry. We're still talking about and then I don't hear back for another 3 or 4 days. And they're like, okay, you got another couple weeks on this. I'm like, No, wait, hold on. I have other things I'm supposed to be doing, and now you're supposed to be my priority. I was supposed to be done with you a week ago.
Yeah, right.
See, that kind of stuff drives me.
And I can imagine you probably deal with that a lot more than I do. I mean, I don't too often have like direct connection with a completely other entity. Like a lot of the people that I'm in communication with are kind of like either selected by me or, we have a long-standing relationship. I mean, I have friends that do, a lot of commercial work and things like that, and stuff for TV and film, where that sort of thing happens a lot, where it's a thing, somebody asks you to do something and it's like this urgent, it's this fast turnaround. We need this by Monday, and it's Friday, and I'm thinking, well, why didn't you just ask me to do this 2 weeks ago or whatever? But like, you hustle and hustle and hustle and do it, and you're pretty much done, and you're like, okay, so what's going on? Here we go. And they start, well, could you try it like, completely opposite, try the complete opposite of that? And you're like, well, what happened to the urgency? And then you realize that was all kind of a put on, but
trust me, it's frustrating. Yeah, I mean, it's weird because it depends on who I'm working for. I mean, some clients are like pretty easygoing, but then other clients, it's like there's like a whole committee. There's like editors. There's like 4 or 5 editors, and they all have to approve. And so yeah, it varies. I mean, sometimes you're just like, why am I doing this? This is insane. But it's part of what it is. So, but I was thinking, you said that you moved to LA.
Yeah,
like you're there now, or you're on the East Coast now, right?
At the moment, yeah.
Oh, but you did move there, okay.
Yeah.
And so that when you were talking about the collaboration thing, is it like certain creatives have projects where they're trying to create certain things, and like, oh, this guy, he's really good at songwriting, and this is that kind of what you're talking about? Because I was just thinking about it. Like I don't know if I quite understand what he's talking about.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways I think that it happens, which is, I think it's kind of cool. It's one of those things where it's like the best thing about it and the worst thing about it is that, there are sort of these, you get into these projects where the idea or the song that's being produced, the people, it gets compartmentalized and broken down, where you have like, even to the point of having like, oh, there's the drum guy, this is the producer,
okay.
Here's the lyrics person, this is the the melody top line person, and then the artist is maybe not even there, you have that, but in these cases, it's more a little simpler. Like a lot of what I have seen a lot more of is just, a producer or a beat maker or even the flip side. And I think one of the interesting things for me has been, because I'm sort of I have my hands in all these different parts of the process, because everything I've done on my own, pretty much, I wrote, I produced, I played everything, and I'm the artist. So I get approached from different angles. Some people are coming because they're attracted to the sound of the production. So they're looking for me as a writer or as a producer. Other people are coming from a production background, and it's my voice that appeals to them, so they're trying to, add my voice to something that that they're working on or that they want to create. So I think it is kind of an interesting thing with a lot of there's a lot of possibilities there that I feel like I'm only just beginning to explore because as my name gets out there more, different people are sort of attached to different aspects of it, but it can be confusing because there have been times where I went to sessions and it was very unclear to me what part of what I did they were interested in. So I would walk in, I might walk in thinking I was going to produce the track, realizing they just wanted me to sing the track, or I'm thinking, oh, you want me to sing, and really they just want me to write, and someone else is going to sing it,
Weird.
So sometimes it's led to some like odd conversations where like the reality of the situation is in flux almost. We're like, oh, I thought I was supposed to write a song for you. Like, oh no, you're writing for me? Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna walk out and then come back in again.
So for something like that, what is the project usually for? I mean, is it like, because that seems strange, because like you come in thinking one thing completely different than what it actually is. I mean, that's got to be.
It's a good question. I mean, and I don't completely know how to answer it. And there's been I've had some moments, some sort of strange moments where I realized, this thing wasn't what I thought it was. And like, okay, so like, do I still want to do this? Do I walk out?
Well, it's got to be difficult too. Just like, I mean, it's funny. It's like, I think it's weird how people like in the more corporate kind of realm think like an artist can just do whatever on cue. Like what if all of a sudden you're not feeling like nothing's coming, nothing's coming to you, and no, you're supposed to sing, man. Like.
Okay.
That's funny.
I think some people are better at that than others. I mean, I haven't had too many instances where I felt like my abilities completely deserted me, but I definitely can relate to being in that kind of scenario where it is a little more corporate driven, and just feeling like I'm not that into it,
Yeah.
And so it's a disappointing feeling,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's got to be hard too. Like if lyric wise, like if you go into some meeting, like, I need to write lyrics like right now. Yeah. I mean, I did that years ago in my punk rock bands. I was in this band and they were, I came in later. They were already recording the album when I joined the band. So I helped record like half the guitar tracks. And then one day we're in the studio and they're working on this song and like, hey, we want you to sing this song. And I'm like, I've never done that before, And then and they're like, also, we don't have any lyrics for this song. Could you want to
also?
So yeah, and we were recording the song. We're in a real official studio. It's not like in a garage, and we have a timeline here.
Yeah, right.
And so all of a sudden, I'm like, what's the song called? I can't remember what it's called now. But and what's it about? It's like, oh, I don't know. Like here's the first part that Brian wrote, and I'm like, so I listened to it, and so I'm like up in the room listening to it, just like trying to come up with lyrics, Yeah. And I was just in a punk rock band. It wasn't like I was even making good money off of it or anything, but I remember freaking out then.
Yeah. Well, it's a weird thing. I mean, I think sometimes something good can come from a situation like that. I mean, and like you said, I mean the song that Diva and I wrote is a good example of that. I mean, we didn't meet on the street. We didn't meet in a like organic way, so to speak, but we connected as people and we talked, and she had this really interesting concept and we were able to build from it. And I've had some other experiences that, where it was positive and we did end up making something that I loved, but you're going to have probably some of those times where it just doesn't grab you, and the environment you're in isn't inspiring, and and that's troublesome. I mean, it's hard when where you like maybe walk into a room and with some people and they're working hard on a project, because I know this happens a lot where, and maybe this was sort of like your situation where, they have basically an album done, but there's someone there, if it's like a label person or whoever, is just like looking for that hit single.
Yeah.
Like, all right, what do we do? Let's call this guy. And I've had somebody say, well, I said, well, what's the feeling of this album? As we're sitting there working and I'm writing a bunch of lyrics. I'm like, well, try this. He said, well, but what's the feel of the album? Like, where's this gonna?
Yeah.
And the guy says, oh, well, the album's done. The album's basically done. We're just looking for a hit. And I was like, what? And the artist wasn't even there, so it's kind of like, I don't know.
That's so weird. Like, we recorded our whole album, is done, but we don't have a hit single, so
like,
you write one, and then that's supposed to
just like right now I should do that. I don't know. I mean, I think maybe they're out there, the people that, and anybody who might be watching this that is looking for a hit.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't call me, but I'm just not sure that's really my specialty. I think for me, I think it's maybe that, like, to me, I really enjoy and value if I'm working with another artist. We don't have to be best friends, but I do like to get a really good sense of who I'm working with, and that really, for me, makes it a lot easier to if I'm writing for them or writing with them. Like, I want it to feel natural for both of us, and to be, it shouldn't be like, if I'm writing for you, it shouldn't quite sound like me. It should sound like you. Yeah. So and I'm pretty good at doing that, but it's a lot easier to do that and more enjoyable if I know who I'm talking to.
Yeah, totally.
Otherwise, I'm just writing. Yeah. Either I'm writing in my style, and then you're doing me, or I'm writing what I think.
Yeah.
What I think you are, without any.
Well, it's funny. That reminds me of, like, before the Black Keys exploded, I remember the first time I heard one of their songs in a commercial, and I was like, "Well, that's so weird." Yeah. Like, it's very strange, because I just wasn't used to that. And then all of a sudden, their songs were on all kinds of commercials, TV shows, whatever. But what I've noticed, like, in the last couple of years, which I think is really funny, is you'll hear a car commercial with it sounds like they're trying to be the Black Keys, but they couldn't get the Black Keys, so they just hired someone to be like, I need you to write something for this Chevy car commercial that sounds like, something, and then like,
you just
there
did
you go.
Man.
Yeah, there you go.
You nailed it. You nailed it, Jason.
But isn't that funny though? Like, it's just like,
let's put that down and shop it around. I think we got something.
All right. But you could put some lyrics to it, and then
it really is. No, that is, you couldn't be much more accurate than what you just said. I mean, that is how that's done.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, well, we want you to do something like, it's like, think like, Queen meets, Steely Dan. Yeah.
And the first thing that comes to your mind is dun 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 dun.
Yeah. So dun, like that. Dun, 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 dun. I mean, I had an ad agency ask me to do that.
Yeah.
Like, actually do that. Where, I mean, I'm not ashamed to say it was like for a commercial. I was like, well, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
To just to fill you in, it wasn't fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of music, would you want to play anything at all?
Sure, I could play something.
So you got your Git fiddle there.
I do got it. I got one. I got one on me. Let's see. That sounding all right?
Yeah, I turned the volume down just a little bit. I think it sounds good.
I'll play one from the new one.
All right, awesome.
Don't wait up for me tonight. Don't wait up for me tonight. I'll be all alone, but I won't be home. I'll return without a dime. So don't wait up for me this time. Don't wait up for me today. Don't wait up for me today. I'll crack up in the rain. I won't be the same when I come back through the gate. So don't wait up for me, no way. I'm going to the city to get some bread, and I'll be back to our farm when I can. I wish it weren't so, wish I could stay, but I gotta go instead. So don't wait up in the days ahead. Don't wait up for me tonight. Don't wait up for me tonight. Don't wait up for me tonight. Don't wait up for me.
That was awesome, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, that's really cool. Sweet. So that's one of the new ones.
Yeah.
When are you expecting to do this next record?
Should be. I mean, it's always like knock on wood, fingers crossed with these things, but I think we're gonna be ready for October. So
we're for the cold weather again.
I'll be.
Well, it's just funny because your last record almost had like it's got like a summery vibe to it,
Yeah.
So it sounds warm,
I think
the blue magic.
It's weird. It's like
it's like the surfing video you did.
Yeah, I know. And like... this one does too in a way, but yeah. I guess like I'm just gonna be that guy that's bringing
at least
brings the summer vibe to the.
You'll be able to come back to LA in between tours and
that helps. I mean, I was sort of leaning in that direction as it was, and I guess I had sort of gotten to a point of where we were touring enough that I just went wherever I felt like going when the tour was over.
Yeah.
Going home didn't really matter that much. So, I mean, I was joking, like, the last place I had on the East Coast, I was here in Jersey, and I mean, I moved in, and we left. I think I moved in like maybe 2 weeks before this tour started, and then I really was not in this place until 6 months later. And when I got back, I was like, I would come back, look around.
Like, this is my place.
Like, where is everything? I couldn't.
Oh yeah, you just doesn't feel like home.
Like, which?
Yeah.
I said I had things in boxes when I moved out.
Yeah.
Of the place, like I didn't have to repack half of the stuff because it was still in the box from when I moved in there. You know, like 2 years later, I'm like, well, just put it in the truck. Don't ask questions. Don't ask questions. Just put it in the truck.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I lived here.
Yeah, that's weird, man. I mean, I haven't done that for a long time, but I do remember touring.
Yeah.
Like the longest one I did was 7 weeks straight, and it was a show every day.
Yeah.
And it was funny because like towards the end of it, we just like couldn't stand each other anymore, and like it's just like, what's going on? But we ended up like clicking and writing more like songs on the road, and like it became more creative because we were playing so much, you know.
So you were writing about how much you hated each other, basically.
Yeah. The songs got a little bit more aggressive, and
you fucking tool, fucking jack, fucking tool, no, fucking asshole, no.
Don't you know how to stay in the right lane?
You know,
when you drive.
Right, there you go. Because what else do you even have? It's just like, fucking fart too much and fart smell like. It's just like, dude, how you drive.
Dude, one time.
How much fart? I mean, that's kind of.
One time we the main singer and I both got like super sick, and the guitar player or the bass player and the drummer were twin brothers, and they were fine. They didn't get sick. Oh yeah,
nice
dude.
There.
It was crazy though. Well, we both got sick. We pulled over and we were on the East Coast somewhere. We had just played in Nashville, and then we were going to someplace I think in Virginia or North Carolina or something like that. I can't remember now, but over on the coast more. And that's when we got sick. We pulled over to this hotel. It was a hole in the wall, but we didn't care. We just needed a bed because we were so sick. And I remember there was a huge hole next to the bed. There's a huge hole that went right into the bathroom. You could see the shower like through there, and it was just dirty and grimy. And I didn't care. I got in bed. I'm like shaking. I'm shivering.
Wow.
And like I keep coughing and coughing all night. Well, the bass player slept he slept in the same bed as me, and the other guy slept in the other bed. And I remember in the middle of the night, I couldn't help it. I was coughing and coughing and coughing. In the middle of the night, that fucker pushed me off the bed.
Oh.
And I'm like, dude, because I kept coughing so much.
Stop coughing.
It's like, dude, I'm sick. And he's like, sleep on the floor. It's like, I don't even know what's on this floor, man. Like, yeah, there's the band road life is like such a fun but weird experience.
It's one of those things that is fun because it's terrible.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. There's no real name. There needs to be a name for that sort of thing, I think, like where the whole appeal is how terrible it is. Yeah. Like, it's that you have this terrible experience you can share with certain people. Yeah. And then you and those people just always have these horrible memories to cling to, you know.
Yeah, we had to separate the twins because we had driving shifts where like one guy drives, the other guy, his job is to keep the other guy up.
Sure. We
made the mistake of having the twins do that.
Oh, together.
And one time we almost died because they're literally punching each other while one guy's driving, and we're going around the mountains somewhere. Yeah. And we're like, that's it. You guys can't
punch.
No.
There's no punching while you drive.
Yeah. We're pulling a trailer with all our stuff.
It's a pretty important rule, actually. That
yeah.
You'd be surprised. It's like really surprised, and I've sort of learned this that you really gotta like have detailed discussions with people before you do certain things. Like before you go on tour, not after you start. Before you go, you should get all the people that are going together.
Yeah.
And have a conversation.
Band meeting.
Where one person explains what the expectations are at the beginning. Just so that there's a reference point. And really, you should probably film it so you can show them later on. You can show them, like, look, remember the band meeting at the beginning? And they're like, no, I don't remember you saying that. Look, no, let's watch this. Look. Yeah. See, you heard me say it, and you see you have two cameras. One's pointed at the other guys. See, that's you. That's
proof
you.
Of you.
You're in there. You heard it.
Remember what I said you need to do if we ever see bats this big? Okay?
Go inside. Go inside when that happens.
Yeah. Don't go outside.
And look, no swimming with crocodiles, B.
That's so funny.
No punching while you drive. That's just not.
No, it was insane, man.
The general rule.
You know, like, let me tell you a really quick story that I think you'll enjoy. So when I was in high school, there's this band called The Blamed, and they were my favorite band. It was like kind of like speed punk, pretty heavy, really fast. And I used to drive my car and I used to just dream about being in that band, you know, just because I just loved it so much. Right. You know, you just kind of like driving around, you just sing the word. I mean, it's like, oh man, I wish I was on that stage doing this song. And then a couple years later, I moved to Chicago. I'm in this other band, and the guy from that band, The Blamed, comes to our band practice. Oh, nice. And I knew who he was. Yeah. And I was like, what he's here? This is crazy. So and he ended up knowing one of the other guys in the band. And I had no idea. And afterwards, he comes up to me and he goes, "Hey man, I really like your guitar playing. I've got this other punk band called Left Out. You want to be a rhythm guitar player?" I was like, yeah, you know, it sounds pretty awesome. I was like, "What's the deal?" And he goes, "Okay, well, here's the thing." He goes, "The rest of the bass player lives in California somewhere, I think Santa Cruz or something like that, and the drummer was I think in Michigan, and we're not going to be able to get together and practice together, but if you can learn," he had 2 records out at the time. He was like, "If you can learn all the guitar parts by Friday," he gave me like a list of all the songs, then, you know, I'll take you to DC. So the first show is going to be in DC. And I was so excited because here's the one thing that he didn't really know. I learned how to play guitar from listening to his other band.
Oh, wow, perfect.
Because I would put the CD in and I would just like play with it. And then so I just every day I just like learned all those songs, even learned some of the solo stuff. Yeah. And it just was like I was just like on the money, just like bam, bam, bam. Just I'd stop just, you know, just I was so pumped. I get together with him with the band, everyone but the drummer. The drummer wasn't there yet. And we had one band practice and he was like, "Dude, you nailed it. You're in. This is awesome." I was so nervous, so excited. We fly to DC. I meet the bass player for the first time. And before I met him, the guitar player, the singer of the band, everything, he said, "Now, just so you know, you're not 100% in the band. It really depends on if Brent likes you or not." Uh-oh. And I was just like, "Oh shit, okay." That's not good. Yeah. So
Brent, huh?
Yeah, and we're playing in this small venue, and we were opening up for this band called the Huntingtons, which are basically like a Ramones sounding kind of band, except faster. And then this other band, 121, yeah, faster, and they were really, really good. And I was fans of both of those bands, so I was super nervous because this is like my tryout basically. And so we're in a small space, and not only did I learn all the songs, but I've performed before, so I like to move around, and I like to get down. I don't, you know, I like to rock. So I'm like getting down with it, and like song 2 or 3, I unplugged the bass player's cord by accident. And he kind of pushed me a little bit. He's like, "What the heck, man?" I'm like, "Oh, shit, I'm so sorry, dude. So sorry." And I'm like, now I'm feeling like really bad about this. Like this guy hates me because he gave me the worst look and everything. And we only have a couple songs left, and I'm playing. And like I think it was like the second to the end of the song, I did it again. I unplugged his pedal again, and he put his foot in front of me, put his hand on my back, and he slammed me to the ground. on stage in front of everybody.
What?
Just bam. And it was the most humiliating, terrible thing ever. And I was just like,
so were you down there trying to fix it, or
no? I actually just left. I got off the stage. I felt like I'm out of the band. This is the worst experience of my life. I'm embarrassed. And then afterwards, he comes up. He's like, "Wasn't that awesome, man?" And he like that was so cool. And I was like, "What?" Huh? So then the craziest thing is, I'm like, so I'm in the band, and they're like, "Yeah, man, you're awesome." I'm like, "Oh." So then we go to this people. They're like hosting us. They're at their house, like this family, and it was Christmas time around that time, and in the yard was a nativity scene, and they put me and Brent in the room together. And I'm like, great, this is the guy that like body slammed me in front of a whole crowd of people. All of a sudden he goes, "Hey, I'll be back. I gotta get something." And he leaves the room. I'm sitting there trying to sleep, and he comes in. He went out to the yard. He unplugged Mary from the nativity scene. He brings her into the room. He plugs it in, and then he sleeps holding the Mary all night long. And so that was my first experience.
Plugged in?
Yeah. Like holding
a light.
Yeah.
Slept with a light.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was weird. And that was the beginning of my experience touring and all that kind of stuff. It was
so you stayed on that tour.
Yeah, and then helped.
Did you have to like unplug him every night just for a show, or like
yeah.
All right, here you go. Here's your moment, dude.
But you know what?
Come on, kick it out.
He was known for jumping up and down a lot and like going around different players, and if you weren't careful, he would wrap his cord around you.
Get it all. Yes.
Yeah. So it was kind of one of those things where we were kind of like Rancid type punk rock, and so it was a lot of moving around and a lot of yelling and screaming.
That's with the cables. I mean, especially if you're dealing with, especially if you have pedals.
Yeah.
Like that shit's gonna come out. Like there's no doubt, it's coming out at some point.
Yeah.
Like one of these days, it's gonna come out. Like one of them is at least. Especially the more pedals you got, the more that's like flirting with disaster. Because, this is as someone who has a lot already.
Yeah.
Like one of them is coming loose at some point,
and then it'll mess up everything.
And really, hopefully, your best case scenario is it's the one that's attached to your guitar, or it's the one in the end. But a lot of times it's not. It's one of the little ones in between, and that's where you're just like staring at the floor, like,
oh man, like
I don't know what to do.
You need some David Blaine there to show up.
Try one. I've done it. I mean, I kicked someone's cable out not 2 weeks ago. But you know what? Like in my defense, I felt like his cable was like kind of all over the place. Like you said, like the guy's wrapped up with the long cord.
Yeah.
Shit happens, like I'm trying to move around. I'm moving like, yeah, man, it sounds good. Except what's up with your guitar, dude? I don't hear anything. Oh, I know what happened. I kicked your cable out, didn't I? Fuck. All right, cool. I'm going to bend down and put it back. Nice. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Nobody knows that, right?
That's the great thing about playing in bands and touring too, is you just don't know what's going to happen from night to night, show to show. Like it's crazy. I mean, it's for us, like, we were a punk rock band, and that record that we did was called For the Working Class, and I didn't name it that. I have nothing to do with it, but apparently a lot of skinheads thought that we were a skinhead band because it was called For the Working Class, which makes sense. I get it now. I understand why. At the time, I didn't.
Socialist band,
dude. There was a couple times where like mean-looking dudes would show up and start throwing shit at the stage and stuff. No, we just like to play punk music, man. Yeah. Yeah. So this, I don't know. I really, I'm glad I have the memories because there was a lot of fun times, man.
Yeah.
It was cool.
It's, it is. It's like, you learn to enjoy it. You have to have a certain temperament, I guess, to like, really enjoy the nightmare that touring is. Yeah. And I think
I miss it.
I think at every level. I mean, I've been on some buses, even though we don't, my outfit doesn't really travel that way. But at that level, I mean, it's still a fucking nightmare. I mean, it's just, I mean, for me, in a way, that's more of a nightmare. I'm a very, I'm a morning person, basically. So the whole bus tour, I think, is kind of geared towards the night owl even more.
Yeah.
Where, like, the only way you're going to sleep is between, like, 3 a.m. and like whenever you have to go to the venue, Yeah. So like between 3 a.m. and 11, like that's where your sleep is. And for me, like my body clock is like the sun goes up, I'm up. Like
you just wake up right away.
I just wake up. So if I go to bed at 4 a.m., I wake up at 8, which means like with that kind of arrangement. If I'm on tour, if I'm on a bus for 2 months, that means I'm pretty much going to get 4 hours of sleep a night for 2 months. Oh. And that's like, I'm not a doctor, but pretty sure that's not very healthy.
Yeah, that's probably not pretty good.
It's not very good for you. So, I'm definitely, I do better like in the van. If I can sleep in a van during the day for a couple hours, so I'm actually, I do better with that, but either way, I mean, it's very hard.
When you do your tours, do you do like, excuse me, do you have like a limit, like only 3 shows a week tops, or do you do like, so you can like preserve your voice and stuff like that?
I never put a limit on that. I had, it's funny. I was just asked that for the first time, maybe in a while. I don't really worry about it too much. I mean, the voice thing is, that it can wear you out after a while. I think I try to keep it like maybe 5. 5 out of 7.
Yeah.
At the same time, I think there are times when the rest gets in the way, where it can interrupt your rhythm at a.
So you feel like you're getting warmed up if you do a certain amount of shows, and then.
Yeah, I think I've noticed, that my sort of view of it, or the shape of it, has been kind of. But the first week is kind of a very up and down experience most of the time, where, there's a certain like burst of energy at the beginning. You're very excited, which you might get one great show, or even that first show is usually like, well, that was really good for a first show, right?
Yeah.
That's like pretty typical. And then the next night it's like, oh, that was terrible.
Yeah.
Usually you get that first 3. Like the first one, you're like, wow, not bad. Oh, this one, wow, man, last night was a lot better. And then, night 3 is kind of, had its ups and downs. You spend that first week kind of getting to, I think, your cruising altitude, so to speak,
Yeah.
Like, and then once you get in there, like, there's a plateau, and where the show can feel good. I mean, the travel part, I mean, I always think we usually mark. I like a mark on the calendar, where's 10 days, because it's like clockwork to me. It's like 10 days in, people start acting super weird. Like, just starts right then. Like up to that point, people are basically just seem like normal people, and then 10 days, like
something happens
on day 10. It's like, okay, this just got like everyone's become their tour self.
Yeah,
where like whatever rules you use at home, like you've accepted those rules don't work.
Yeah,
I need different rules for this situation because that is how it is. So if you behave the way you would at home, things don't work right.
Yeah.
So you have to like, you know, change your entire way of being. And I feel like that is the point where I grew on the road. It's that tent. It's like you literally, I could wake up that day like, here it comes. I can feel it. Here it comes. And just on the way to the gig, or once you get in the dressing room or something, you know, so just like somebody just says something that it's like,
yeah, something clicks or snaps more like. Yeah.
God, are you kidding? Who the fuck? It's like, who the fuck is this guy?
Did your did the guys in your band go with you to California, or do you kind of have a
my drummer that I played with all the last 4 or 5 years, he's in San Francisco now, so he's out there. I've still got guys on the East Coast, you know, so we've been kind of flying into places lately, but I haven't, you know, it's really since that show we saw me in fall of 17, we've only done short. I'm lying a little bit. I guess we did 2 months last year on support tours, but aside from that, it's just been kind of fly in, fly out, or drive, you know, just a couple of dates in a row, or maybe a week at the most. So we haven't had to deal. I mean, and I think with a lot of bands now, I mean, if you're going on the road for a month or two, you know, it matters a lot less where anyone is, because
oh yeah, I guess it's
not really, you know, you're not really anywhere in particular anyway. So it just, people have to kind of get to one place at one point, and then
just make sure you're here.
As long as you get in this place on that day, you know, we'll be good. And then 10 days later, we'll all be nuts.
Yeah, that's crazy. Hey, I have a fan question for you. I had I've been doing this lately where I have people call in, or not call in, but leave a voice message because it's a little bit more fun. So let me play this for you.
Oh, cool.
All right, fellas, how's it going? Greetings from Ireland. Hi, Jason. Hi, Son Little. My question for you is, which of your songs is your favorite song and why? And I also have a special request for you. If you do this, you'll get me a lot of brownie points from the missus. Could you do us a couple of lines a cappella of Lay Down? No doubt that's our favorite song from you. It would be great. Thanks a lot, guys. Have fun. Cheers. Bye.
And that was by Andre Kokimore from Ireland.
All right. Hey, Andre. What was the question? He was asking me what's my favorite song. My own favorite song.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta know that's like the hardest possible question that you could ever ask anyone.
It's kind of like asking what an artist's favorite painting is, but for me, I kind of don't like any of my paintings. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple, but
it's not the same.
Yeah, it's a little bit different.
As how you feel about other people's work. I mean, you just can't quite detach it from yourself enough to. I mean, in a way, like I listen to my own music, it almost doesn't make sense to me in the same way. You know?
I know what you mean, yeah.
I'm just like, I don't think of this as what I do is. It's not music. I don't know. You know, it doesn't feel like that's not those aren't songs. I don't know what they are, but.
Oh, somewhere in there.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's all right.
They're, you know, they're somehow detached. I think, you know, what I think happens is that, you know, he mentioned "Lay Down," which is, you know, one of the more popular songs that I've done, and I think before, because that song was kind of hanging around for me for a long time before I released it, and it's like it wasn't even so much on the radar when I was first putting that first album together. It wasn't really something that I was focusing on until very late in the game. And so I said, well, what about this one? I was like, well, that's kind of old. It was old for me at the time.
Yeah, that's funny.
But up to that point, it had been a favorite of mine. I always thought it was strong and had potential, and I just sort of forgotten about it for a while.
Yeah.
But I think like once it's exposed to the world, it becomes something different, because it comes to mean something to other people that I can't change or deny what it has meant to other people. And so for me, it's sort of come to be something completely different. And I tend to then probably almost root for songs that other people overlook.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've had these sort of discussions a bunch when we talk about like putting the album's sequence together, or when we talk about like figuring out what singles are. Sometimes we talk about these songs like how they fit into the narrative of everything that I've done, or how they fit into the album. And so on the last record, I had this song called well, actually the first two records both have as the last song, the last one had the song called Demon to the Dark, which I was sort of, at the time when I was sort of saying like, we should put this out as a single, like, well, it's kind of slow. And I'm like, yeah, but I think, it's the last song and it just has feeling to it. I think people will like it, and it was sort of, I'll tell you what, it's like the About a Flood of this album, which About a Flood was the last song on the first album. And that, I think, like, when I look back at it, those tend to be my favorites. And like, those two are specifically some of my favorites of mine. Is like, they're a little more, that kind of set apart, maybe from some of the other ones. Almost like they're like the underdog songs for me.
Yeah.
That maybe aren't quite as accessible right away, or they're not as obvious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally.
But there's just some quality about it that really resonates with me, and in the right environment, playing a song like that can be really, can just feel really great. When people are, when the audience is very receptive, and sometimes I find like those are some of the songs really that in certain places get the most powerful reactions. If not, if I start playing Lay Down, like by the time I get here, a lot of times the audience already knows what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And that's cool. And you get a reaction, but that can be loud and boisterous, and people talk to me while I'm playing it, and that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But when you have a room that's got a lot of really focused people in it who are really engaged and want to listen, and maybe added to that, like, have really studied this record well, or you've studied your music very well, so that like no one is talking, no one is on their phone, and everyone knows, or at least has heard everything that you've done, then a song like that, like A Demon to the Dark, is kind of, the reaction has there's a power to it, because it's almost like I think they have absorbed the material to the point that they kind of understand better who I am and what it was I was trying to say, you know. So it's almost, I almost feel like they can detect how deeply connected you are to that music, and that it's like you can feel that in the room. So sometimes I like those. There's songs that like I forget about. I mean, I say that those are my favorites, but I will play a show and the show's over.
Yeah.
And then somebody's like, "You didn't play Demons in the Dark," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, damn! Like that's crazy." Because I meant to. We talked about it, or I'll have it on the set list. It's written on there, like you look at it, like oh, but I just went right past it. It's easy to forget sometimes. Or if I'm in like a rock club and it's like super rowdy, like I'll just be like, nah, it's not even. I'm not trying to fight this room. You know, I want to like.
Yeah, you got to read the room.
Yeah. I'm not fighting this struggling, wrestling with this room tonight. We're going to just, you know.
Yeah. That makes perfect sense. Yeah. That's awesome. That's cool.
I can honor this guy's request. He said a cappella, though. I don't know if he
well, I don't think he knew I think you can play it. I don't think he knew. Hey, here's the deal. I think he just wants to get laid. So if you can help him out, I think that he'll be very happy with that.
Okay. Fair enough. Baby, won't you lay down and watch this water boil? Let the others run around. For once, baby, won't you lay down and watch this water boil? Let the others run around. Just this one. Lay down with me one moment. Let me ease your worried mind. Lay down and drift a moment. Let's not waste any more of our precious time. Baby, won't you lay down and watch this water boil? Let the others run around. For once, baby, won't you lay down and watch this water boil? Let the others run around. Just this one. That's it. Just a taste of it. Hopefully that works.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for doing that, man. And before we split, is there anything that you want to promote or anything coming up? Are you going to be in Chicago anytime soon?
I don't have anything in Chicago locked in yet, but you know, we're all just again like fingers crossed that I get this. You know, the release date right now. It's like I don't know if I'm supposed to actually say it or not, but it's I don't know, it's supposed to be in October. Let's just that way. And if that's the case, then I will definitely be on the road for the end of the year, and we'll definitely be in Chicago. I don't know yet what the venue is going to be. We were going back and forth about which venue to do in Chicago, but whatever it is, it's going to be nice. I'm going to be pumped because it's definitely like very high up on my list of places.
Yeah.
It always feels special to play there.
Well, dude, that last show, like I said, it was awesome, man. And there's definitely was an energy, just like everyone was just getting down.
Yeah.
It was awesome, man. It was so good.
I mean, it's sometimes those shows, it's like similar in a way to the songs. Sometimes for me, the ones that I like when everything is really working. When I look back, I don't remember anything at all, like that happened. You know, I remember like being backstage. You know, I remember like hanging out with you guys after.
Yeah.
You know, I remember what I did after. That show part, I couldn't tell you the first thing about it. I don't remember anything about it. You know,
well, it probably just blends in because you're playing so many shows. It's just like, you know, you're in the zone.
But there are, but then there's the ones that don't go well. I could probably tell you exactly, you know, what was wrong with it. Like, well, first of all,
there were bats.
First of all, you guys all fucked up.
Yeah.
And it threw me off.
Yeah. That's awesome,
man. I don't remember the rest, but no. But that show was really, really on point. And it always is. I think I told you that night, like, it's one of those things, like, I'm glad and grateful, like, for all the progress that I have made. But, like, I can't lie. Like, I kind of miss Shubas a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know.
Yeah.
I'm like, so does this mean I can't play Shubas anymore? Because there's something about that place.
Yeah.
That.
Oh, totally.
You know,
it's
like
the intimacy of it.
Something about it, and it had to vibe that place. Like, like walking through the crowd and going behind the bar to go down into the green room. It's like, yeah, you gotta go behind the bar. And I'd be like, yeah, it's in the green room. And the guy would be like, the new guy would be like, where's the green room? I'm like, it's behind the bar.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, where? Like, no, you gotta go. You literally have to go behind the bar, like the bartenders. And
that's so funny.
it's just little things like that. And of course, I was just talking to somebody the other day about down in the Shubas green room. There's everybody's posters on the wall, and it's basically a penis museum down there.
Everyone just drew.
Speaking of art, there's a lot of drawing down there. Like every time I've been there. If it's just why, just like a note to people, if you think you might be playing Shubas, don't like have your poster where you're like, like don't do your poster like.
Yeah, that's just hilarious.
Yeah, you want to just like maybe don't even put your face on it. Like, just keep it real. Like
cover your ears and
don't have your hands out here doing this. Like just kind of straight up, you know.
That's awesome.
You don't want to give them the ammunition because they're gonna get you at Shubas, still no doubt, guaranteed.
Dude, I think that's a good way to end it, bro.
That's great. Yeah.
All right, thanks so much for doing this, man. I really appreciate it. This was awesome, man.
It's my pleasure. I'm glad we were able to pull it together.
Yeah, for sure, man.